So Chelsea, are they good or bad this week? Well, I mean, I thought they were bad, then they got a vital win against Luton at home, which now in hindsight, like, yeah, that probably wasn't as important as I first thought it was.
Everyone will get a vital win against Luton at home this
Yeah,
year.
but they lost last game. They drew 0-0 with Bournemouth away this week.
I was looking at my fantasy team. I had a Malo Gusto at the back for Chelsea because I saw he got an assist in the Luton game. Again, brought me in off that. Definitely a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I saw he got 6 points. And I said, oh, Chelsea must have turned it around. And I saw he got a clean sheet. And then, good result for Chelsea today. So, and then I saw it was a 0-0 draw.
I don't know. They need to score goals. That's name the game. We'll score. Don't concede. Simple game.
But I'm sure one of the many random players they have will eventually click.
Yeah, I mean, all we kept seeing is how much players they bought and the money they spent on those players. But I mean, look at their bench, and it's like, who's that of players they signed? It seems
this is the ultimate like hipster football team. I think some guy who's like lives on Football Manager is like, I can't believe they all play for the one team.
You'd want to be like deep in Football Manager to know these players, I think. And I don't think I'm showing my casualness right now. But I mean, I looked at these names. I was like, I must be out of touch. This is really. I don't know any of these players.
Do we have the list of the subs?
Yeah, I have them here. Number 47, Lucas Bergstrom.
It's already funny that they have 47 players in the squad.
I'm going to do it like the read out the Irish players for the Aviva, booed or cheered. Number 28, Georgi Petrovic. Number 29, Ian Matheson. 21, Ben Chilwell. I do know him. 42, Alfie Gilchrist. That's a random name generator. That's Alfie Gilchrist. 20, Cole Palmer. I mean, we know that one from last week. But I mean, 40 million for Cole Palmer. 36, David Washington. Now, we didn't feature him on the show because I thought, hey, look at this guy they signed. But I think most will go, who? 52, Alex Matos.
Yeah.
Number 62, Ronnie Stutter.
My favourite. I hope he really kicks on.
Oh no! I mean, yeah, it's a.
It does lead to like a bigger problem because the main thing clubs always want is Premier League experience.
Yeah.
There's no way those players have Premier League experience.
Well, speaking of Premier League experience, that valuable Premier League experience, a few of them went off this year from Chelsea. A lot of people came in, a lot of people went out.
Yeah.
Loftus-Cheek. I mean, I was always waiting for his career to explode, but it never quite happened. He went off to AC Milan along with Christian Pulisic.
Yep, Pele.
Yeah, the LeBron James of soccer.
LeBron James.
That's what we're saying about what Neymar thought he might be able to swing. Pulisic has tried that same.
I did see like only the other day a TikTok popped up of someone who was opening like match attacks, like the cards. But there was a signed pack of match attacks, and Pulisic signed his own card as the LeBron James of soccer, Christian Pulisic.
No, he didn't.
I swear to God. Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, he's probably in the joke then. He knows he's not. Know. But yeah, they lost this week. They lost 5-1 to Inter Milan in the derby. Well, that's a big game. First time in how many years that they've lost 5 times in a row to them? What was the stat?
That was the 5th time Inter have beat AC Milan. The first time they've won 5 consecutive matches against them in their history.
But he started well. And look, we all have a bandwagon. When someone's scoring goals, we'll get right on it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just play the clip of him scoring against whatever team that was he scored against.
Mori, bravo Fick la fa correre Loftus, eccolo Christian Pulisic dentro per Loftus, Giroud, Pulisic, come on baby, USA, again, he did it again, Christian Pulisic, the captain of USA national team, 1-0 per noi.
Honestly, that is nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things. know what you're gonna get.
Melodrama upon melodrama. This is a total, shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
Because he was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. International break return edition. They should all have some kind of edition on it. I think that's.
We've had a lot of editions. If we were more successful, I wonder would we have like a super cut on YouTube of all the different editions and like a 10-minute video.
Oh, like a fan made video.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Because I'm not doing it myself.
Oh God, no! Sometimes when you listen back to the episode, you go, "I can't believe we put that out." You know.
The first 130 are tough to get through.
But you know what? If you want to go back and listen to them, download us. You know, absolutely do that. And patreon.com/Announces Podcast. All our previous Patreon, like 20 odd Patreon episodes are up there as well.
Yeah, something like that.
After Nonsense, which is our non-full pod, and we have extra football podcast as well. Champions League come back this week as well, so we're right back to it, folks. $4.50 a month. We really appreciate it if you had a look. And if you like what you see, stick around, you know. We are going to be talking today about Liverpool's comeback, Richarlison's redemption arc, you know. And we're going to do as well some predictions, some based on reality predictions on how the rest of the season is going to go. Because it's all kind of shaking out. It's starting to take shape. I think the two bookends are going to be City and Everton. And then we're just going to try and figure out what's happening in the middle there. But... yeah,
because when you're doing the top four predictions before the start of the season, it becomes very clear 2 games in how wrong you are.
Yeah.
Especially, Man United can go either way every week.
Yeah, well, I think that they get hyped up so much because, you know, it's only Man United fans. They want to hear about it and they want to hear good news. So don't tell me that I don't think this is going to work out. And also, if you make that prediction for the start of the season, be like, I just think Bruno Fernandes, you know, isn't as good as everyone says he is. You are going to get that back tenfold in the comments, and people are going to take your clip and look at this clown. What's he waffling about? You know. So it's just easier to just say, you know what, tell them what they want to hear, and then when the season goes awry, they're too angry at the players to remember what you said. You know, they want to blame you.
Yeah, they want Ten Hag out.
Yeah. So I think when Man United started the season, unless they've won the season before, I'm not going to get on the thing of they're a good team again, because you just never know. Yeah. I mean, they had a shocking week last week leading up to this during the international break. We talked about the Sancho stuff last episode, and that's a good actually example. We were talking about the Sancho, what a mess it was, and no one wanted to listen to that episode. You know, no one wanted to hear about that one.
Absolute stinker, lads.
Well, I don't know what the story is. That I saw he was linked to Barcelona. He was linked to move back to Dortmund. I mean, all this kind of stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Ten Hag. I mean, some people were like, you know what? He's setting standards. That's what you want. Other people were like, well, you know, the results aren't really.
Yeah. What standards?
What standards is coming out? And then he kind of threw the whole the club under the bus, which does kind of play well with the fan base as well. That there was no standards when I came back here. Yeah. It's a joke. You know, the Glazers. I mean, come on, everybody. You know, it's the Glazers' fault.
People love that.
And then you had the Anthony thing. In the meantime as well, I mean, he didn't seem to take any kind of a side on that. I mean, look, it's
he said, she said at the moment, unfortunately.
And after the whole Greenwood stuff, I mean, it's again, if you're winning games and Man United are successful, you can do whatever you want. But when they're not, and you make kind of, you know, on the fence comments, people are like, is this guy a good guy? You know, is this guy a good dude? You know. So then when that Sancho thing happens, I was like, this guy's mean to me. It's like, well, he might be, you know. I mean, I have something to.
And that's the thing as well. When Sancho is like later, it seems like he's been banished to the under-18s now until he apologizes. I think that's like the official line from the club. Yeah, there was a picture of him watching the under-23s train, and it's come out that he's refusing to apologize. But then it's like, okay, so he's not allowed to play because he said mean things about you. But like all of these like criminals, you were happy to. They can play. So like the lines are mixed up of what's important and what's not at the club. Yeah,
it's like you say, if you're winning, all these things don't matter. You know, he's the boss, he's in charge. Let him cook. You know. Yeah. But when the results aren't happening on the pitch, then all these things come into question, and it just all gets compounded by this. We had, I think we talked about Harry Maguire breaking news in the past. It was.
Yeah. Turns out that was a bigger story than we realized.
That was, I think, the straw that brought the cameras back. I mean, I mentioned it because it happened when we're recording, and we looked at the video of all the Scottish fans jeering. Apparently, as soon as he came on, people were going, "Oh,
he's gonna do it!"
when he got the ball. So like he was under pressure from the start, and then when he scored the goal, it was this like eruption of like pointing and laughing.
We knew
at
it,
Harry Maguire, which I think I watched that. That's kind of fucked up. That, like I said, the straw that brought the camel's back. Everyone came out then and said, "Think about this man's poor mental health." You know, which I think we can give ourselves a pat on the back. Well, that was our immediate reaction. You know, so yeah, we call that one right. People are kind of on the side of Harry Maguire now, but I mean, what do you do if you're him? You know.
Well, I mean, what it sounds, because again, get your money. We said it. He's made the right move in his life, but I think a move to West Ham would have really helped him. Because even he's not playing at United. I'd be shocked if he could work his way back in. But then if Southgate still wants to play him, now you're playing someone who's not playing at club level. I think he'd be playing pretty comfortably at West Ham. So then it's like, okay, I get why he starts for England now, or is brought on for England. But now it's like a whole circus every time. He doesn't even play. Why are you bringing him on? And now look, he scored no goal.
Do you think though he's worried about like if he was to go to West Ham that like, you know, there's no guarantee that he would play well either. Like he could go to West Ham and make the same mistakes. I mean, they played City this week. They got beaten 3-1. Like anybody can look silly against City, but like if you put Harry Maguire on that side, you know, now he's around worst players again.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, it's not a guarantee. Like, go to West Ham and it'll all be fixed, Harry. You know, yeah, you get a bit more money, but you'll be back in the England team. Everyone will love you and rate you again. You know,
I just think the pressure would be less. I think the spotlight at United is insane. Like, it's absurd.
I think he had to go through this whole thing to the point for it to get so bad that people said, okay, every stop now. That now if he goes to West Ham in January, people will all say, leave him alone, all right? Let him live his life. But if he'd gone to West Ham in the summer, it would have been like, yeah, look, he couldn't hack it, you know? And then he goes to West Ham, the spotlight's still there, he's still a meme, and like, he's doing it at West Ham as well, look at this clown, you know? And then you never get back at England's side because you're not Man United there anymore. So I think in the long run, this might be the best thing. This utter humiliation for England. And having his man come out and say, leave my boy alone, which... I mean, that is the worst thing. That's my nightmare.
I thought
my mother coming out.
Don't do that. Don't put that.
You're making it worse, man. Like,
it was absurd though. Like the circus around it is mad because I saw Ryan Fraser had comments on it, which he was obviously they were put to him. He was asked, but it's like, why is Ryan Fraser being asked about Harry Maguire? Why is Brendan Rodgers being asked about Harry Maguire during a Celtic fucking press conference?
Yeah.
And just everyone talk sport where Martin Keown was saying, leave him alone.
Yeah.
We're too harsh on players this day, says Martin Keown, who like absolutely slices through players and fucking when he's doing punditry.
Well, you wouldn't mind like on a tactical breakdown of like, look, Harry Maguire's too slow here, he's out of position. But like when he comes on and people are like already jeering him or ironically cheering when he gets the ball, it's like, well, that's not analysis. That's just like like there's a crowd of 80,000 people bullying this man now. Like, you guarantee there's some England players as well, England fans doing that as well. You're like, yeah, fuck Martin.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's like whenever Martin Keown looking at a thing going, he's too slow, he's not good enough. Like football is a ruthless kind of professional thing, but this is a different thing of like, you know, making fun of him as he's playing. It's like, you know, you shouldn't be here. Let's make fun of him. You know, because everyone's like, oh, didn't the same thing happen to Dave Beckham? You know, which I mean,
it wasn't this bad. It didn't happen, but there was no social media.
Yeah, well, the thing was, Dave Beckham was still decent. Yeah, do you know what I mean, people like, like this pretty boy thinks he's God's gift. You know, it's like, well, you know, fine, but you know, he was
ripping it up at United.
He was still winning stuff for United. They went to Real Madrid, and it was like, you know, the only criticism I see, he didn't win anything for England, along with every other player who's played for England since 1966. So I mean, it really wasn't as bad, you know. And not that there's like, you know, oh, this is fine because this happened either. You know, if what's happened to Harry Maguire is wrong, it doesn't have to be the worst thing ever for it to qualify as, okay, now we have to stop because it's the worst thing that's ever happened. You know, like if it's wrong, it's wrong. So I honestly think this is the best thing that could happen to Harry Maguire.
I'm sure he's buzzing.
This was his only way out of this. He had to get so bad that people said, okay, stop bullying this man, you know, and now he can rebuild his career at 30 years of age.
Yeah, because it does seem like the pendulum shifted to people being like, Come on now, he's not that bad.
Yeah, well, this is it. Like we talked about this before. That like if you're playing the Premier League, you are by definition one of the best players in the world.
Yes, exactly.
We're playing professional football, like a wider kind of scale, but you are. So it's tough. But one of our, I wouldn't say friend of the show. I would say
enemies of the show.
known to the Gardaí, kind of, known to the show. Mikel Antonio. He came out this week and was defending Harry Maguire, getting on that bandwagon of mental health and like we should be making fun of players for no reason.
Couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw it, I sent to you, I'm like, this is insane.
It's gone way, way, way too far. It's actually embarrassing. I've never seen this ever in entire football. Like
I haven't either.
In football ever. That one person can be absolutely destroyed. Yeah. And anytime he does anything wrong, it could not be his fault, but he could be involved in it. Yeah. It's his fault. People definitely do forget that people are human and it's obviously going to affect them mentally. And he went from being an unbelievable centre-half. Unbelievable. I think one of the best in the Premier League when he was at Hull, when he was at Leicester. One of the best in the Premier League, 100%. To half of a man. He's half of a man now. Like, I would that's how I would describe it. He is half of a man now.
And I guess it's an English thing. Again, it's not about who had it worse. It's a lot more intense, the Harry Maguire stuff. But I mean, Antonio would, they talked about someone on their podcast, a colleague, a peer, and talked about laughed at that he took off his shirt and he couldn't score, saying that basically this man should lose his job. Tottenham to get a striker.
It said Tottenham need a new striker. Literally laughing at him, saying relax, it's only a bit of banter. Saying you're not good enough. And then clipped this and posted with the idea of making money off it, Twice, 2 separate clips of months apart.
And then he has the cheek to come out and say, mental health, lads, leave Harry Maguire alone. It's like, what we did wasn't as bad as that. But that's how the Harry Maguire stuff started. People on podcasts saying, this guy's a big useless slabhead, it's a bit of banter, relax, Harry, will you? Just improve the performances, that's all it takes.
And it was funny as well because the timing of it was just after we talked about in the last episode the picture of Richarlison crying on the bench after being subbed off for Brazil, and he also came out with a statement after the game, or I'd say he was asked about an interview, and he said, "I'm going to go back to England, seek psychological help from a psychologist to work on my mind. On the field, I'm a happy team player. I try to help as much as possible. Sometimes things don't go the way we want. It's part of the off-field side that ended up getting in my way. Even though you want to do things right, it keeps going wrong." And then he went and said, "I want to come back stronger. It's about getting a good streak at Tottenham. That's what's most important to me. This week I need to sit down and talk to someone."
Yeah, so he's going through it.
Hey,
he's going through it.
Yeah. And largely because of the two boys.
Yeah, because it's the Joe Rogan thing. It's like, you have to be aware of the influence you have. If you have a podcast like Antonio and Wilson have, it does have influence, and that clips in group chats, that clips in everything. It spreads as kind of like Richarlison is a joke of a player. It's you say, well, we're just having a bit of crack, the two of us. We weren't starting any hate campaign, but if you put that out there and Tottenham need a new striker, I still can't get over it's it's because you're a striker in the league. It's not like one of us who's never played the game at that level, and it's he's shit, but you have to understand.
It'd be like us talking about another Irish football podcast on the show and saying, I think they need a new host.
How hard is it, boys? Get over yourselves, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a bit of banter, relax.
Because it's a real thing, in the Premier League, that the summer comes, you could be sold off, the club is accepting an offer you. Then it happens again in January, then it happens again in the summer. Every few months you could be
it could be
rotten with the 21s, depending on what happens. So you spread that word out there, then you are affecting things. I think the only his main saving grace is that on Ange Postecoglou seems to be a real decent bloke, Will.
Yeah, a legend.
He was coming out talking about the mental health as well. Yeah, maybe the best thing is just to play the clip.
Who in their life doesn't have something that's stressful? I mean, I've lived 58 years now, and there's never been a time in my life where everything is perfect. I lost my father 3 years ago, and he should have been here for the journey. So I've got to deal with that. Everyone, and that's just me talking personally, but everybody in this room at this moment, you could be one part of your life could be flying, but there'll be something. Could be a family member, could be a health issue, could be a financial issue. There's always something, and footballers are not immune from that. And sometimes I think they fall into the trap of thinking they are, and they're not, because just because you have, money or you're really good at something, life will still find a way to keep a balance in that. There'll be stuff in there that's going to be stressful, it's going to be upsetting, and you've got to just deal with that,
Which again, like, it's easy just to not to have a go at 10 Hag again, but just take that kind of approach. Like, listen, I'm a football manager, I'm here to talk about football. Look, we'll deal with it internally, and then not deal with it internally. But like, he seems to have a lot of empathy. I don't know if you saw his other quotes about Tottenham fans this week.
No.
Ange, I remember in pre-season you said, I can't ask fans to be patient, I can't tell them how to feel. Right now you've almost got the other side of it, where fans are giddy, they can't wait to come to the games, best league start since the mid-1960s. Is it any part of your role to try and keep everyone on a level, manage expectations, not just your players?
Mate, let them go, mate. Let them go. It's like,
we're not doing.
Let them enjoy it. Like, I've said this before, my role is not to burst people's bubbles. Let them get excited, let them get ahead of themselves. That's the beauty of being a supporter, they go through enough pain, mate. You want to let them enjoy, and if they think we're going to be world beaters, great. That's up to us to kind of match that expectations. But our supporters deserve to have some happiness, and they can enjoy it any way they want to.
That's what we say. That's literally what we say. That's what it's all about.
Enjoy it while it's happening. Don't open like, no, what, it's not gonna. Like, that was fucking most Arsenal fans last year. Probably one of the worst years they had last year. Like, during it, like, in hindsight, they can look back and go, that was actually pretty good. But at the time's like, there's no stopping hell, no, is there? There's.
It's just not going to happen, lads. I know it's not.
The older you get, it's just life comes. That's it's like there's never any hope, because like, don't do it to yourselves. Whereas like, it could have been like the most joyous year ever, all those wins. But I mean, he just seems to have that empathy of like a real fan, or a real football man. Will. Yeah,
I think that clubs always seem to circle back to that type of manager after a few like negative football and also negative managers like Conte, Mourinho. It was the same with United when they got Ollie, and people were like, this guy is a breath of fresh air, he's just smiling all the time. And then eventually you're like, all right, what's happening now?
The skinny jeans index, Will. Yeah. He is the baggiest jeans we have in the Premier League right now. Is Ange Postecoglou.
He's grey tracksuit. He's just chill, he's comfy, he's what you actually want.
He's Jinkos. Yeah. He's almost too baggy at this point. But no, he seems great, and like, it's grand to be like a positive, smiling kind of guy, but then to also get results on the pitch and play good stuff. This is this is what we're saying about Ireland. Preferably both, but just give us one. Give it, be entertaining and win games. So it
was funny, like you mentioned there about the Sancho thing and like the difference between Ten Hag and Ange talking about mental health.
Yeah.
There's been so much talk about Sancho in the last week and being like, oh, what a waste, and like, he's always late and this and that, and he's like, oh, I've never seen that since he got here. And then Ten Hag saying he's not good enough. Remember like 2 months ago the Dele Alli interview came out and people went, oh, should probably be nicer to the footballers, they might be going through something.
Oh, it's always such short memory, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that could easily be the case here again, where it's like it's something much different is going on, but people this time are just like, nah, bad signing.
Yeah, well, that's what they're just signings. They're literally, there's a euro or a pound amount beside their names, and they're not delivering on. Like Anthony, same thing. I mean, he's fucking got his own issue at the moment, but like, you can't say the word anti without also throwing in 90 million pounds. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's all about. So, like what Postecoglou said, they're like, footballers are the same. They're real people. Like, you have different things in your life that aren't always going well. So, yeah, I think that empathy is huge. I mean, should we get into the United game or the Tottenham game? I mean, they were.
Yeah, we should probably talk about the on-field, because again, it was a really good week on the field.
Yes, it was. Not for United, of course.
No, of course not. And I do remember at the end of last week we were doing a little preview of the games.
Yes.
I said, oh no, Man United are playing Brighton. I know how this is going to go. And it went exactly how I thought.
Do you still feel sorry for Pascal Gross?
No, I don't feel sorry for him.
Fuck Pascal Gross, that son of a bitch. What's he doing sidestepping Martinez like that? How dare he?
Oh man, he cooked Martinez. There was the first goal, I think he did a crazy fucking, what's it called? Like a dummy as well. He jumped over the ball. I
think that was Lallana actually.
Oh, was it Lallana? Yeah.
For Welbs. Welbs, that guy.
Well, of course, yeah. I'm so sick of seeing him score.
He has a grudge against Man United, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, I'm sure
he always switches it on.
I'm sure you've seen that clip of him with Roy Keane teaching him when he was like 10. He was there from a very young age. You know, broke into that team, and then they signed Van Persie. It's like, well, he's obviously better than you, Danny. So, you know,
and he will be forever.
And he got sold to Arsenal for like 16 million. I think that really, he's like, are you joking? Like, that's,
yeah, two rivals as well. I'd take him.
There's no respect here at all. You have no fear of me at all ever coming back and scoring goals against you. And ever since, he makes a point of it.
Every time.
Like, they interviewed him after the game, and they're like, oh, I bet your phone's going to be blown up now, Danny. All your friends and family are going to be texting about this. And like, he laughs, like, yeah, no, here professionally, of course, you know.
Yeah. No,
but he enjoyed it, you know. And then was like, no, I'm just going to switch back. I keep having to remember that I don't care about this. You know, I'm actually indifferent to the whole situation. I really don't care what this told me for a mere 16 million. That's definitely not a joke at all. Because I remember he scored in the FA Cup the next season for Arsenal, and this was like peak time of like players were not celebrating against their, like, you know, hashtag respect.
That was the Ian thing.
And he was like, yes, like not even a hint of like a music celebration. He was like fully celebrating. I was like, oh, he's not happy about this transfer at all, you know. And he's had a bit of a path there. Watford and then Brighton now, and he's kind of. I think a lot of players will leave this Brighton team and never be as good as they are again. You know.
This is just the place to be. I think everything seems to run so smoothly, top to bottom. Again, this was, I think, mostly their B team against United. No different to the A team, how they played, like the system and everything. They're just so well drilled. Seems like all the signings fit perfectly into the cog.
Were they missing a few? Were they?
They were, yeah.
Yeah, I saw. What was I going to say? Yeah, it started off that they had neither João Pedro or Evan Ferguson, but he did come on, Evan Ferguson.
Did you see the little bit of a what would you call it, a ruckus on social media during the week when he was pictured in training for Brighton, and people were like, I knew it, he's putting Brighton ahead of Ireland, he's working his way into the England team.
No, you would, like, you know, people like that are just, they haven't a clue. Like, I mean, it's
lunatics. Relax, boys, he's playing for us.
Like, he didn't get like stretchered off. It was a precautionary thing. It was like,
exactly,
I don't know who made the decision or who made the call, but like, if you were Evan Ferguson, you're looking at the France games like, well, this is obviously pointless. There's no point in me playing hurt against France. That's not going to make any difference. In the Dutch game, again, like, are we going to beat the Dutch at home and away? In the grand scheme, he's like, if my knee is in a little bit of trouble here, there's no point.
This is not the game to ruin my career.
And obviously, he wasn't 100% fit because, you know, he scored a hat trick in the last game and then didn't start this game. So he obviously wasn't training for the 2 weeks while he was away. Like, you know, so whatever. People are just.
I think as well, if there was any semblance of like a fake injury or something, Stephen Kenny would have brought that up in an interview. He would have been very annoyed about that.
Yeah, no, I think that's just like, they wouldn't. Whatever. We've done the Ireland stuff and no one listened, so let's not talk about it anymore. He was Welbs with the first one, and then it was who was it?
Well, then it was, did Holland score next? But it was ruled out over the classic Japan rule. There was no online tech.
Yeah.
No paper out this time on social media, I noticed.
Yeah, it was the same thing. It was like the curve of the ball if you go on the bird's eye view.
If it was the top down. But no, this time people were like, no, sure, the ball's out. Why? Why this time is it okay?
Yeah, that was pretty funny, right, Will? I mean, it's like the one time it happened in the World Cup. It's like, well, this is a rare thing. This is never going to happen again. There's only to expand the goal line techno for the whole line. That'd be a waste of money, you know. Not like there's enough money in football to do that.
Yeah, and then it was funny because like the VAR replays all of the angles they were showing. I was like, well, you can't tell anything from there. I know the top down view is the only one that matters, and they don't have it.
Get the top down view. Get the top down view. Get the spider cam out. What the fuck is a spider cam? I don't know.
It does seem like at the moment United have had a bit of bad luck. The Arsenal game was the same, where just millimetres offside goal could have changed everything. This one, if that's allowed, changes everything. But that is the thing, is that all of the goals they score are just barely ruled out.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're banging them in apart from them.
No, I mean...
it's the only times they nearly score, they're unlucky, but the rest of the time they're not coming close.
Yeah, no, it would have been... The cracks are in paper over. I guess we can just see that this isn't a team really functioning well. Even despite having McSauce back there, top scorer in Euro qualifiers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they have a few injuries at the moment, but it's funny because with those injuries, it's all the new players, so they're forced to play the team who they've had forever. And it's like, no lads, you can't judge them on this.
Yeah. Yeah, because we saw that screenshot of it happens every time. Now, you don't usually lose, but when it's like a Liverpool or United versus a Bournemouth or a Brighton, some of that, it's like, how much did it cost to assemble this team that lost 3-0 versus this team? It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously Brighton are a very well-run club, like we said, but there's also the kind of the tax of if Man United were going to come for a player, well, you're not getting out of here without spending at least 40 million. We're not idiots. Yeah.
And the wage structure is it's cemented. You can't just cut 60 grand off, because that's what Brighton would pay.
yeah. So it's they're not playing well, but I think it's the whole ownership and the kind of
the vibes are off.
We saw the Mason Greenwood stuff. There's very poor leadership. It's all eventually all filters down to the team and on pitch performances. If it's well around the top, it'll you won't be signing players like Reguilon on loan. It's just
who was the best player on the pitch for Man United.
So it's I think it's just shit rolling downhill for United at the moment, and it's not gonna fix itself overnight.
And important teams take some distances now, but how strong is Arsenal? Yesterday I saw the game against Wilson Park. They are exceptional, and Liverpool again. The mentalities continue there.
Manchester United.
Spurs, on the other hand, like you mentioned, Will, time to get excited forever, however long it lasts. They had a great win against Sheffield at home, inspired by Richie.
Yeah, he did it.
Richarlison came on, scored a goal and assist. He was benched again, he was Son starting in front. But I think the opposite. The vibes are on.
Yeah, exactly.
The vibes are on here at Spurs. He came on, scored a goal and assist, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and you saw at the end there where they were cheering to the crowd, and it was Son actually, who was pushing them forward. I suppose in Son's mind, it's well, I'm going to play no matter what.
This doesn't bother me.
I'm playing Richarlison's position or I'm playing someone else's position, but it doesn't bother me. But he was pushing towards the crowd, being this is the guy. He's back, everybody. Yeah. And it reminded me of when Klopp and Liverpool did that cheering when they drew 3-3 with West Brom, and everyone's like, this is way overdone. This is a draw against West Brom. This is crazy, but it's that kind of that culture moment. Of
it famously brings the team together.
We're going to celebrate every win, every kind of good result. This was a huge result by us.
Was it Arsenal against Fulham last season as well? Where was it? Richard Keys was had the whole rant about come on lads, it's only Fulham while they're top of the table.
Yeah. Richard Keys hates Arteta and that whole thing, but it's some of these things. In the moment, it's this is game week 5 against Sheffield at home, which you almost lost, which would be the kind of glass half empty look at it. But I think it's going to be a good season for Spurs. I think it's looking good. If Richarlison can get scoring, if he can get into a run here now. And Son is also still playing well. Chelsea also got on the score sheet for them, which was huge. Basuma, I think, is an early favourite for Team of the Year, I would say. He's playing probably the best midfielder. Him and Rodri maybe are probably the 2 best, most informed midfielders in the league at the moment. And then your man at the back, Van de Ven, I think is a good pairing with Romero, who is an absolute liability, I think. But you know what? A lot of it is just the kind of good vibes, man. Momentum.
Yeah. It's funny because even the goal they conceded, it's the type of goal that top 6 Premier League teams concede all the time against newly promoted teams, a big fucking throw in.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. It doesn't matter who you are. It's going to cause havoc.
No, they weren't cut open like who's tracking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just one of those things.
There was no breakdown. It was just the lad threw the ball directly into the pile of players in the box, and it ended up in the net.
And then, like we said, one of the best footballers in the world scored a goal. You know,
Yeah.
Nothing to do with that. So yeah, no, I think it's looking really good for Spurs. Just because I think they're winning games in a way that suggests that it's all going well in their camp. You know what I mean?
And they're believing.
Yeah, they're believing. And I think a team that's similar in a way is Liverpool.
Yeah, it feels different though. It feels like Liverpool's talent is getting them over the line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're still trying. You know what I mean? They're still getting those last minute winners because it's like we still believe that we're good enough to beat this team, rather than be like down again. You know, drawn to a team that if you look at how much it costs to put that team together and how much it costs to put this team together, you know, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking, let's just keep going with this. You know?
Yeah. They're not playing with the weight of the world on their shoulders like some other teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does feel kind of like we can still win this. Even like I wouldn't say that. You know,
yeah. You were terrible in the first half, boys.
They're starting slow in games, Liverpool. You know, and also the whole Salah thing. I thought this is going to be a team cancer. This is awful. You don't want one of your best players to be like, they're offering him how much for him? He's going to go, you know. And then it's like he's going to go in January. He's eventually going to go. It's too much money. They're going to sell him, you know. And you're looking at him like, you know, we can't rely on Salah then if he's going to go in January, you know. But he played excellently last time. He got 2 assists for the 3 goals.
Yeah, he was a really good game.
Darwin came on, the super sub came on again, causing havoc.
That role suits him really well.
Yes, and the only thing is that he costs so much money. It's like, is he too much for a super sub? You know, should he really be starting ahead of Gakpo? But I think Robertson got the goal as well. I mean, defensively they were
on his 200th game, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they can still score goals. And they brought on Luis Diaz off the bench as well, start with Jota, but it's the defense is the only thing that's like, you know.
Yeah,
there was Joe Gomez, and he was getting absolutely roasted by Neto, who is like one of the most mercurial players ever. Like he's like, you know, not a consistent form at all, but like if he comes up against someone who's better than, he's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it today.
Yeah, I think I could do him.
Yeah, like Cunha should have scored the second one. That one that he jumped way too early and then hit off his knee. It's like, how did you time this so bad? But that would have been 2-0, and you know, you're looking at a 3-2 comeback then rather than
which Liverpool are capable of, but it's a lot tougher.
Well, I mean, they literally scored 3 goals. So I mean, in theory, but it's you know, I don't know. I think should we look at again, Will, our predictions for the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? Because we all do the predictions, the pre-predictions for the season, because it's an easy filler. It's an easy episode, you know.
Yeah, that is literally. There's no thought got put into that episode.
It's shot in the dark. You know, anyone who does a column is like, yeah, I think Man United are going to win this year. It's like,
well, they have signed 7 players,
but no one really holds you to it because it's like, well, there's nothing to go on, you know. But we've had 5 game weeks now, our first international break.
You get the feeling.
We get the feeling. We see who's injured for the season, like Luke Shaw and Cuckoo. Like it does change your pre-season predictions, you know. I mean, I think City are still probably the favourites. I mean,
Doku looks great. Did you see Pep said he is a proper winger, basically saying like all the other lads are not.
I've done my best with Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, but it's just not the same, you know. Yeah, I think he surpassed Jose Mourinho as the most signings, as the most expensive. I think he spent 1.2 billion on signings, which he surpassed Jose Mourinho, who held the record before in terms of total signings signed.
It's funny as well because it used to be all like the billion-pound squad, and you spent $1 billion.
Yeah.
That means so much less now that Chelsea did it in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, well, he spent I think 1.2 billion in his career on signings since 2008. You know.
Yeah, like that would be right.
Chelsea did it in one transfer window. I'm not sure what I said, but I think I said Chelsea can't be this bad again this season. But
we spoke highly of Chelsea, I think, because we were like, it has to work.
Mudryk, this is his revenge season, you know. But no, I think they're screwed. You know, I don't think they're going to put it together. They don't have a striker.
They don't have a striker. We don't know Todd Bowley, but he does seem like the type who, if it's like this still in January, he might be like, all right, New manager again. Roll the dice again.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything from Pochettino in the last few weeks. No,
good or bad.
No, it's just like Chelsea are drawing 0-0. It's not even exciting. It's just like, you know, it's bad.
Chelsea, it feels like genuinely they're in danger of, like, some teams like slip out of the top 6 and come back and all that. But it feels like Chelsea are even worse of slipping out of top 6 and not being spoken about anymore. People are just like, oh, that'll never work.
It's such a strange situation they're in with all their players on the long contracts, because it's, you know, you sign players.
It's not working now. When's it going to work?
Yeah, well, this is it. Like, you sign someone on a 3-year deal and it doesn't work, you can always move them on and someone will come in and sign them. But like, it's the 8-year deal. It's like no one's fronting up for that. You have to pay them out of that. It's like if they were to slip into, you know, obscurity, and then Mudryk is still there. It's like,
they're doomed.
I mean, and if you're going to sell the club, if you're looking to buy the club, even if like Todd Bowley and Clear are like, this is a disaster, let's just get out of here. Someone come in and going, so how many players do you have on 10-year contracts? Like, I mean,
what the hell did you do that for?
Why would I take that on? You know?
Yeah. I'm going to buy Burnley.
Yeah, maybe be better investment. You know, that's what we're looking at. So it's very strange to see how this is going to pan out if they don't come good on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Because these players aren't going anywhere. It's going to be the same team forever playing back. Like, you know, and
you have to think. Sorry, you have to think. Every week they see like Brighton still being good, they're like, oh no, oh no, that's really bad for us.
Again, early days, but I mean, relegation is not completely out of the question.
That would be amazing.
I mean, it's such a strange situation.
Frank back in the second half of the season.
I don't know. I really don't know where it's going to go. Like, and even now after the first 5 games, I'm none the wiser. It's like, what is their best team? Who are their players? You know, where do they sign them from?
Was today a good result?
Yeah. What is their ceiling? You know, how good? Like, it's just, I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, I couldn't even tell you where they're going to finish this year.
No, it's literally, it feels like they'll be in the mud, or like in the muddy around 8 to 10 to 11 mark.
I think that's probably most likely. You know,
same as last year.
Yeah, which would be crazy to think that they hadn't improved at all with a new manager and a preseason and all that. Just like, nope.
Yeah.
We're still the same muddled mess with like zero leadership and zero plan.
No European football again, so we've lost a lot of money.
We're really losing money this year.
And remember their whole FFP plan of like, don't worry, we'll just take the transfer ban when it comes.
Oh God. Yeah. And Mudryk, the stalwart of Chelsea at 8 years' time, you know. He loves this club. He can't leave legally, but he loves it, you know. So what's the top 4 then shaking out this year? I mean, I was very high in Newcastle at the start. Now I'm not really sure. They won again this week. But I think I'm looking at probably City. Arsenal are going well. I think Liverpool are going to make the top 4 this year now as well, just the way they're playing. I think they'll continue.
Yeah, it depends. And
then Spurs.
Again, are these last minute winners signs, like the good sign, the good type of last minute winners, like, oh, they never give up? Or is it a case of like, oh, that's not sustainable?
Yeah, well, I think who's going well just on the results is what City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, and then also you've got Brighton and you've got West Ham. West Ham they lost their unbeaten streak now against City, but I mean,
everyone is
not to be disrespectful at all, which maybe this is, but like, it's, you know, there's always teams like West Ham and Brighton who are like, oh, they can make top 4, and they never do.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So if you're looking at like teams with the resource in the squad, like Newcastle, United, and who else is in the top 4 is playing well, but you know, in theory could do it over the course of a season with Champions League football and all that.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it'd be a huge achievement for West Ham or Brighton to break into that top 4 and get Champions League football.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a huge surprise. So I think that's the top 4 I'm looking at, is of City, Tottenham, Arsenal and Liverpool in whatever order. Probably City first and the rest I'm not really sure.
Yeah, exactly. I do think Arsenal will probably be second again, which is mad to think. I think they'll be like comfortably second again. I don't think they're going to come as close to last year. I think City are looking better than ever, which is annoying.
Yeah, even
remember we were like, after the treble they'll definitely fall off.
They won't have the hunger, you know.
Yeah. Kyle Walker signed the new contract and he said like, now I want it more than ever.
Yeah, I saw the announcement video. Did you?
Yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street thing.
What was that, 10 years ago?
Yeah, old reference, boys.
I mean, not that it's that old a film, but it's just like that was done to death. You know,
Yeah.
we all made the references, all made the jokes. Like to go back, you're like, remember that film's like, yeah, I remember it, yeah.
Half of City's fans probably don't. They're probably like 4 when it came out.
Well, then that's even a worse idea then.
Yeah, you're not going to get them to watch it. They shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah, no, Kyle Walker is happy to be there. They're all really hungry. Winners, born winners.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good to see that. No sign of obviously the breaches. That's not happening this year. So here we go again.
For my prediction for that, is that we'll never hear that ever again.
Yeah. Oh, I think we'll hear that once City have wound up and not winning every year. Then it'll probably come in.
When they're down, kick them when they're down. Yeah. When they're weak.
Yeah. Ha! You only won 12 in a row.
So yeah, what is your thoughts that United won't make top 4? Is that gone already?
It's hard to tell because again they should be doing better, but they do have injuries, and it does seem like a lot of the new players that they brought in, this is the new squad, haven't even got a chance to affect the game at all. Like Amrabat hasn't played yet. Mount had like 2 or 3 games and he's gone again.
Mount, yeah, I remember him.
Varane hasn't played at all this season, I don't think, and he is really important to them. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like I could see them turning it around later in the season, maybe making a late push for top 4. But at the moment, I'm thinking 6th probably.
Yeah,
which is usually the pattern for United: 6th, 2nd, 6th.
Yeah, well, we're back. We are back, and then
new manager next season. First year, loads of signings, go really well. Second year, not so good signings. Some odd ones like Johnny Evans. Third season, he's gone. And it's just up over and over and over and over and over until I'm dead.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it? It's nice football.
It's good. I'm glad I watched this game.
And what about relegation? It's always a tough one to call at the start of the season. But I mean, what's your thinking as who's going down?
Luton, Everton. Then I don't know. The third one's tough. And I think it's tougher than usual. Normally you see a team and you're like, oh, they having a chance. But it does feel like it's just Luton and Everton that are especially bad this season.
Yeah. I mean, I probably throw Burnley in there as well. They don't have a point yet.
Yeah, Burnley maybe.
That's the current bottom 3 is Everton, Burnley, then Luton. And then above that you have Sheffield, Wolves, Bournemouth, and then Chelsea.
Yes.
Nottingham Forest doing surprisingly well.
Yeah, they are. Well, like they do have a lot of good players. We make fun of them for signing so many, but they're good. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And Luton, and Sheffield as well. Like they lost to Spurs, but I mean they fucking in the 90th minute they were a goal up, so they nearly beat Spurs. Like
yeah, I mean I think Bournemouth are going okay, but I think Bournemouth, Wolves, Sheffield, Everton, Burnley, Luton. I think from those, 6, 3 of them will go down. I think Chelsea, I know we were joking, but I don't think they're that bad enough to go down.
No, there's 3 teams worse than them in the league, definitely.
Man United are going bad at the moment, but they're not going to go down. Nottingham Forest, maybe they have found the right balance of signing all the players. They maybe are.
Yeah.
Then above them you have Newcastle, Brentford, Fulham as well. So I think it's between probably those 6 teams. Looking at it, I think Luton probably aren't good enough to stay in it. I think they're maybe the starts, but there's always a team that they're definitely going down, and then they make a miraculous comeback, and Wolves go down and no one feels sorry for them. It's like sorry, I hope. But look at Luton, what a great story,
I saw Fulham, who were seconds away from selling Palhinha in the summer to Bayern, to the point where he was over there taking pictures with the jersey.
Oh yeah,
and was told he had to fly back.
Did you see him trudging to the
airport?
He
signed a new contract.
He was he got the word right.
His head is spinning.
His head is just down on the ground. They're trudging back to the gate. It's well, I best really go back to Fulham then,
But apparently he signed a new 5-year deal.
Oh yeah.
So either that's a case of, you know what, it's actually not so bad here, I'm sticking with it, I'll keep it Fulham up, or that's a case of I'm going to give Fulham a load of money in January when I'm sold.
Yeah, well, it's probably best for Fulham. I mean, look, it's the kind of thing you're going to Bayern this summer, they wanted you, but you never know what next summer is going to hold. You never know what injuries are going to hold or are going to come, so it's get your guaranteed money now anyways. If Bayern or someone really wants you, if you have another good season, they'll pay it out,
Yeah.
If they come back the second time, it'd be embarrassing for Bayern to not get you the second time. So it just makes sense. Like, listen, worst case scenario, I'm here for 5 years. I have, money guaranteed. Best case scenario, Bayern really want me. They pay me out. It's all good, or they buy out the contract. So it's all good. So
speaking of as well, actually, Fulham had sold Mitrovic to one of the Saudi Arabian.
Oh yes.
Did you see his
saw
comments?
Yeah, zero nostalgia for England. Shithole.
Zero nostalgia for the Premier League. And then he said the club he's going to, I think it's Al Ittihad. It's one of the Al clubs.
Yeah.
And he said this club is just like Real Madrid.
It's kind of like the Real Madrid of Saudi Arabia over here. He's the LeBron James of soccer, is what he said in not so many words.
I'm sure Fulham loved that post at that conference.
Remember he was at Newcastle and he kept getting sent off.
Yeah.
So
he's a real wild card.
I wouldn't say he has much like nostalgic memories of Newcastle. Then Fulham,
we got the ban in England.
Yeah, then Fulham, I would say he got that ban last year, and then he fell out with Fulham themselves, where they're like, man, like, no, you're not going to go to Saudi Arabia. We need you. It's like, fuck this.
This place is a prison.
I'm 18. So I'd say I can understand that, but he's kind of, I would say he's probably a tough guy to get on with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's an easygoing guy, Mitrovic.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, the Saudi Arabia exodus continues. The money's there. Listen, I was only saying a few episodes ago, if the slush fund or the fund slushing around could be directed on me at some stage, I'd be all for it,
Yeah, I'd be saying wherever I'm going is the blank of Saudi Arabia. I'd say anything.
Yeah.
Some breaking news from the past, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Not a result, but some news that's just coming out now. Have you seen any of the memes about Tuchel, what some of the Bayern fans are calling him because of his some of his choices? They don't agree with him. They feel he's like football terrorist. Is how they're describing him.
Football terrorist.
They're calling him Tuchelaban, like Taliban.
Tuchelaban.
With there's like a lot of memes of him with like Osama bin Laden's beard and a turban.
No way. This is sweeping Germany right now.
So someone has tweeted about that, and I don't know. It's hard to tell on X now what's real and what's not. Is it fake, verified, or not? But the Taliban's Twitter.
The Taliban's Twitter.
Yeah,
You're on Twitter.
The Taliban Public Relations Department.
Oh no.
Which must be fake.
Are they registering their offence of this?
Yeah, they said the man that goes by the moniker Tuchelaban has nothing to do with us. This man is disguising himself as a member of our noble movement to earn fame and fortune. Such behaviour will not be tolerated. We will place him on the sanction list so he can never visit our glorious nation. Either a great bit or the most insane tweet of all time.
Do they think that Tuchel is calling himself Tuchelaban?
I hope so. There's no way this is real. Why would the Taliban have a Twitter?
Well, they're the ruling party, I think, in
that's true.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
This could be a real story. Well, this could be a real a story that runs and runs.
We'll keep our eyes on the Taliban. If you want to keep up with all the Taliban news, that's at Taliban PRD.
I'm looking forward to Tuchel having to come out and address this.
Yeah.
I am not, nor
the Taliban
have I ever been a part of the Taliban.
They were very clear in that, in their statement.
I don't usually agree with the Taliban, but I agree with them on this.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
This is a utter shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than chop all the
Plenty of
time.
time, no problem.